Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this is the Piracy Show. Now, today we're talking about Lorville. I have seen. My PC had some issues with it, though I think there may have been an external, cause at the time, so I'm going to have to go and test some more at some point in the future. But what did I think of it? I was hugely impressed. As usual, the artistic, the artwork is massively impressive. Massively impressive. It looked and felt like a real environment. Very much so. I was hugely impressed with it. It represents, I think, a pretty tremendous achievement. And the fact that, as it's being released, I'm one of the first people that kind of gets to go in and explore it. I mean, with the rest of you, I'm not Evocati or anything like that. But to be right there when something like this is coming out and to test it out, it's pretty fun. It's pretty great to have that opportunity. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. I enjoyed getting lost. I enjoyed not knowing where anything was. This wasn't like Levski, this wasn't like Olisar, this wasn't like Grim Hex, where we've been there hundreds of times and we know exactly where this is or where that is and where the other thing is, and as soon as something new is added, we immediately pick up on it because we know I've seen this thing 100 times, now it's different, oh, there must be something new here, let's go check it out. Like when they opened the Dumpers Depot on Grim Hex, everyone saw that door was open and just went, oh, there's something new here. Oh, and oh, there's a shop. So I was really impressed. The only real concern that I have, and I'm going to open up with this just so we can kind of get past it. The only real concern that I have is the subway. Actually, here, check this out. Rip. See you in 10 minutes, buddy. But yeah, the subway system was the only thing that really concerned me. And it's not so much like, oh, it's ugly, oh, it's not good, blah, 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 blah. It's just that, much like Levski, this is kind of like that point that links everything in Lorville together. So if there's ever an issue in a certain build with the subway system or the metro system, it could be kind of disastrous. And I don't want to do an Escape from Lorville video series. But at the same time, I understand why it is the way that it is. Because Lorville is very much, it's an outpost. It's not an ArcCorp, right? And so if you were to sit back and say, well, they should have implemented a road system and let us use our ground vehicles in the city. And that, I believe, as far as I know, is still on the outskirts of the city. You can still pull up your ground vehicles on the outside of the city and use that to kind of navigate around out in the world. But within the city itself, it is very much a closed outpost. So I understand why they've restricted it to the metro. And it does give it a certain, I think, a more realistic feel. That it is this very large and extensive outpost. It is covered by a metro, and they don't want you, just putting in a road or a highway system. Though I don't think that would be entirely unwelcome in future endeavors to incorporate something like that. For Lorville, I really understand it. My only real concern, once again, is that metro, and it's strictly a convenience concern, because I don't want to see something like this where all this work has been done turned into another Levski, where players actively avoid it because of frequent breakages and inconveniences. I mean, I speak for myself and some of the players that I know and I speak to on a regular basis. We do actively avoid Levski because of those elevators. I haven't gone back. Apparently Rico Battaglia works. I still haven't gone back to do those missions because I don't want to deal with Levski, man. I don't want to deal with those elevators and whether or not they decide they're working today. So maybe I will make a video later on in the week, finally going and seeing Rico Battaglia. Sure enough, it'll probably be broken again. But yeah, that was my only real concern. I get why it is the way that it is. I understand it, and it's amazing. But I still, there's that part of me that kind of goes, single point of failure. Eesh. But I have to explore more. Maybe there's like a back roads path to get between these locations that I haven't found yet, or maybe you can just run along the tracks. I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, the spaceport, I really, really like the spaceport. I really dug it. Now, of course, it does have the recessed landing areas, much like Levski does. And the reason for that is so you don't see ships just materialize out of thin air, right? They're always kind of, when they materialize in the game, they're always behind closed doors and no one can see them. So it's, you're focused on the right hand. You're not seeing what the magician's left hand is doing. That's the reason why they do it like that. It's a very clever way to maintain immersion. Unlike Olisar, where things just appear on the landing pads, and Olisar, of course, is something that we know at some point is going to be removed and replaced. But, this system, I get why it is the way it is, and it's very well done. I really liked the spaceport. Everything about it was great. I liked the fact that I didn't know where everything was right away, which was something that I think added to the experience. Because I'm like, domestic, interplanetary, oh shit, like this is an airport terminal too. And because I was trying to explore and trying to find the the ship call-up panels so that I could call up a ship and go and explore around Lorville a little bit more, especially with the fact that the sun was going to set relatively shortly. I kind of wanted to get out and kind of check the area out and maybe get some cool shots of this city at dusk. But it was hugely impressive, and just not knowing where everything was, I mean, that in and of itself can add to the experience of just exploration and discovery, which can be so fun. And it's something that's frequently lost in video games. When you go and you watch a YouTube video and it tells you do this, do that, do the other thing, and this is how you get it done, and that has very much become our way of gaming. Sometimes that self-discovery or that doing things on your own just adds to the experience of finding where everything was. So I didn't go back and rewatch the the CitizenCon presentation to find out where everything was. I just kind of found everything on my own. I actually, I was lost in the hab. I was lost trying to find the metro, and that really added to the feeling of the scale and the immensity as I was exploring it. It makes me a lot more eager to find ArcCorp. One thing, if there could be just hangar numbers over the doors, that would be great. Because I was over here and I know it's one of these elevators because the signage says it is, but nope, it's not that one. So it'd be really great if there were just actual numbers, or maybe I'm just blind and I don't see them, but yeah, that would be a great thing. But yeah, just being lost, it adds to the experience, I think. Especially when you're in such a huge environment as this. Now, oddly enough, one of the things that I was experiencing while I was playing this was kind of bringing back to a certain degree flashes of the early days of playing the Old Republic, the MMO. On the Jedi side of things, their campaign, when you go beyond the newbie planet to Coruscant and you start exploring there and doing all the storyline missions there, this kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Not because, obviously it's not to the same level of detail or quality, obviously not, but just kind of this big city, sci-fi, all that, it kind of brought a lot of that back. And I was like, man, if they could rebuild that game into an environment like this, holy shit. And it kind of led me down that one road of that old thought. And we've talked about this on this channel before, that there's a lot of people out there who are probably kind of watching this project, and we're probably watching it and just kind of like laughing at it before, going, that's never going to happen. And now I think that laughter has kind of turned into perhaps nervous laughter, or just nervousness, because honestly, if you're thinking about creating an MMO now in 2018, and you're thinking about creating large immersive environments, and you're seeing this, there's probably a lot of companies that are looking at their plans, their big budget plans, especially around projects perhaps like Star Wars or Star Trek or something like that, or even, you know, the people behind WoW and stuff like that are probably looking at this and looking at their future plans and just balling that paper up and throwing it over their shoulder and going, uh-oh, we need to think a lot bigger. Because this was, yeah. Even encountering all the issues that I encountered, you know, just the frame stutters and whatnot, that's all stuff that's obviously going to get smoothed out, right? Like, we just got OCS. This is not the final version of OCS. It is not working at 100%. Probably not even close to it yet. There's a lot of polish that needs to go into a lot of things. So obviously performance is going to, you know, improve over time, and obviously computing power is going to improve over time as well. But this is probably, you know, something that's making a lot of game developers start to feel a little bit nervous when they see this game, because wow. It really is impressive when you actually go and you get in and you start to play around with all this stuff yourself. It's one thing to see it in a cutscene. It's one thing to see it on stage and go, ooh, wow, that'll be cool. And, you know, when we saw the whole ArcCorp demo and all that, it was, yeah, that was really cool. But it's another thing to kind of explore it yourself at your own pace and check it all out. It really is very, very impressive. I think I'm going to close out this video by saying that, you know, we did, or I did a video a while ago talking about, you know, ArcCorp, and, you know, knowing that ArcCorp wasn't going to be a thing this year. And obviously a lot of people were kind of disappointed, but when you look at the scale and the expanse of what we are getting, OCS was the real big win this year. OCS was the real big takeaway for us this year. Getting that allows this to exist. It allows ArcCorp to exist and all of that. And it's very easy to see, especially from this vantage point, how much you can squeeze into a space like this, how much gameplay you can squeeze into an area like this. And I mean, just the exploration alone. Like, I might be wrong on certain points, but just because I haven't explored enough and found maybe there is an alternate route rather than the metro to, you know, from the Habs to the landing port. I don't know yet. I still have to explore some more. And obviously, there's a lot of exploring to do. So overall, I mean, yeah, we're not getting ArcCorp in 2018. Boo friggin' who. Look what we're getting. Holy crap. I can't wait to explore this some more. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.